I escaped being kidnapped at 5. When I was 5 now 19 of my family often went to Portugal on holiday. Not sure why my parents thought this was a good idea considering what happened to Madeleine McCann just a year before. Either way, we were staying in a villa, not near any towns or cities and would hardly go out. Being a 5-year-old, I would go to bed much earlier than my parents, and as a light sleeper would often wake up to them making noise in the kitchen and would get out of bed to go to them. One thing about their nighttime routine which I do remember, however, is that they would always go to sleep before the sun was completely gone down. This one particular night I remember waking up to a smashing sound coming from the TV room. I did my usual routine of getting out of bed to go see what was happening, but I instantly had the feeling that something was off. I was stood in the dark corridor, not being able to hear my parents' voices or any more sounds coming from the TV room. I looked back into mine and my older sister's room to see our nightlight, a small dim light for children, flickering, and instantly got scared. My first instinct was to go to my parents, who I thought were in the kitchen, but after I took a few steps away from my bedroom, I had an instinct to run back into bed and go to sleep. The next morning I woke up to police and a completely trashed kitchen and TV room. We had been robbed. They had taken everything, from the TV to the safe box with our passports and money inside. Everything was gone. My mind instantly went back to last night and what might have happened to me if I'd have gone into that TV room while they were in there. I don't even want to imagine what could have become of 5-year-old me or where I could have been right now. I'll forever be thankful to scared younger me for going back to bed rather than investigating the noise further.
The man in the tunnels. This story happened recently, and for some context, me and my friends are teens that like to explore and do stupid stuff like normal teenagers do. We found this tunnel that was a drain under a busy road. We had to crouch and sit on our skateboards to explore it since the height of the tunnel was short. As we were going deeper into the tunnel, it gets pitch black, and the flashlights from our phones can only reach about 5 feet in front of us. So we were blind to what we could come across until we were very close to it. In the tunnel, I remember the wall was painted in all red and had sheets of metal with white hand prints connected to clothes pins. We decided to keep going until we reached what we thought was a dead end. It was not. On the left, there was a more square tunnel compared to the rectangle shape we were in. In the distance of the connected tunnel, there was a bright light coming from the outside, shining from above onto a red shopping cart with belongings in it. We slowly inched towards the light where the shopping cart was. The light turned out to be a big hole in the ground that we could crawl out of if we needed an escape. As we were about to pass the shopping cart, my friend, who was in the lead, was too afraid to go forward anymore. It was pitch black 5 feet from where we were. I decided to take the lead and keep going. I stepped past the shopping cart and stopped. I don't know what it was, but I was afraid. I had a gut feeling something was back there. I slowly moved back. I stopped. I swear I could have saw something move from the deep dark of the tunnel. Before I could put everything together, a loud echo of someone pounding an object on the walls of the tunnel struck me back, causing everybody to freak out and crawl out of the escape hole. Once we got out, a homeless man ran to us asking us what we were doing in there. We told him we were just exploring. He explained to us that there is a man that lives underground in that tunnel, and he would have killed us if we went further. The man was apparently crazy and threw a rock at the poor guy's head before. Luckily nobody was hurt, but even though that was scary and dangerous, it was fun and I'm glad I experienced it.
Very strange activity with the neighbors. Hey, good evening. I'm on night shift tonight, so I figured I'd finally type this out. It's been ongoing for a few weeks, but seems to be over, I hope at least. So I'm between places to live right now. My old apartment got condemned, so I 24/7 splitting time between my brother's house and my boyfriend's house while I'm finding an apartment. Unfortunately, we're in a hardcore housing crisis down here right now, so it's taking longer than I'd like. So my boyfriend has only been living here for a couple of months. He shares a yard with his neighbors, which is rented out by the same landlord. The neighbors gave me no bad impressions at first. It's a husband, a wife, a daughter, and somebody whose relation to the family was never made clear to me. He's a guy though, mid-40s. So the first thing that kind of got me thinking was the fact that their bedroom activities could be heard loudly anytime they were in the bedroom and we were outside. We could clearly hear everything. This wasn't a hug bother though. One night, around midnight, we could hear a chainsaw being used inside of their house, accompanied by screams. My boyfriend had the brilliant idea to go over there, but I convinced him that we just call the police. I don't know what the outcome of that was, but the next day, he saw all of them at one point or another, and nobody seemed to have been hurt. The next thing I found to be strange was when the wife had come outside as I was leaving for work. She was wearing nothing but sweatpants. To make it clear, I saw titties. She just carried on doing what she was doing. The next thing, which seemed to be the final straw for my boyfriend, was when he and I were trying to sleep. They randomly started stomping on the floor inside of their house and started chanting. Not sure what they were saying, if anything at all, but he was getting restless. The next day, he went over to the husband and told them that they needed to keep it down. Both he and his wife were confused and played dumb. My boyfriend jumped to the conclusion that they were on drugs, and I won't lie, so did I, but they argued profusely that they didn't do that. The verbal altercation lasted a few minutes before my boyfriend simply told them to stay on their side of the yard and to stay quiet. This lasted for a whole day. Before the wife had come outside, wearing nothing but a sports bra and sleep shorts, and fell asleep by their fire pit. I'm a nurse by trade, so I went to see if she was okay and found that she wasn't breathing. I called 911. An ambulance came and got her, along with two of the others, who were all unconscious inside of the house. I had remembered, after all of this was settled, that my boyfriend had said once, upon meeting them, that the wife had mentioned that all of their windows were inopenable. They had suffered from carbon monoxide poisoning. None of them passed during the ordeal, thankfully. All three survived, but I haven't seen them since, and I doubt that they'll be back in the house. I guess what I'm trying to say is, be safe and make sure that your house is up to code before moving in. We are currently in the process of having his house checked, just to be on the safe side.